technology will allow this all to work, but we shall see. Okay, so usual warm-up exercises, just a very gentle, easy warm-up. So there's a different plan for today's class. When I visited China in 2018, I visited a center in Xi'an, which is ostensibly taking on the work of Dr. Pang. It's a Zheneng Qigong Research Institute, but it's also a Zheneng Qigong kind of healing facility. Picture a vast set of flats, about 10 stories high, half a dozen different blocks spread around the campus like a small university. And you get an idea of roughly how Xi'an looks. There are 200 or 300 residents, I think, maybe 400 residents. And it's an old folks' home. So there's some very pleasant gardens and little ponds and walkways and things like that. A couple of big open spaces. And essentially what's happened in Xi'an is that the local government offered the Zheneng Qigong people half of this old folks' home. And so there are quite a few elderly residents who just live there and don't do Qigong, sort of sit in the courtyard and watch as everybody else does Qigong. And then there's a group of residents who live there who have went there to an old folks home and then have become Qigong practitioners and practice every day. And then there's a sort of a flexible community, I don't know, maybe 100, 150 people who come and stay there to get themselves healed and then go away and other people arrive. And so there's a sort of a nomadic community that washes through who are all Zheneng Qigong practitioners. So it's a really delightful atmosphere, a really lovely place. And it has this very sort of soft, gentle feel about it, as you can imagine from an old folks' home. And I was lucky enough to be in Xi'an during the summertime, so it was very warm and pleasant, not too hot. I don't know how cold it gets in the winter, but yeah, so everybody was sitting outside and practicing outside and eating outside. But what really struck me was that as you wandered through the classrooms, you'd stumble across a room where there would be 50 people, 100 people sitting on these tiny little chairs. So everybody had a sort of a wooden stool. You can imagine a fold-out stool, little X-shaped stool with a piece of material across it where you could sort of sit on top. And yeah, everybody, or I think the rooms, they were all laid out in the rooms. I'm not sure they belonged to people, but people brought along a little extra cushion to put on top of the stool. And they just sat on these tiny stools, and you'd find 100 people doing La Qi. And with Dr. Pang's recording running, and the teacher occasionally sort of guiding people. And so I thought that's what we'd try and do today. We'll mimic that healing class. It's lovely because those classes lasted for 6 or 8 hours. There were classes that specialized in cancer. There were classes that specialized in odd things like gallstones. Gallstones seem to be very big in China. I think it's something to do with fatty diet, with people loving to eat fatty meat. and they tend to end up with blocked up gallbladders and blocked up kidney stones and things like that. And so there were classes where entire classes would spend 8 hours dissolving their kidney stones and their gallbladder stones. And then the next day, they'd all duly queue up to have their ultrasound on their gallbladders and be pronounced the fact that all of the stones had just disappeared. And so very often that's something that we need operations for, and passing kidney stones is notoriously painful. In China, they would do this class, and they would just dissolve their kidney stones. So if your body is able to create them, why should your body not be able to break them down? So that brings me on to the subject of La Qi. La Qi is Dr. Pang's simplest exercise, but it's based on the fundamentals of his entire theory, as it were. And so it goes like this. He basically says, our entire universe is made of Hunyuan Qi. So this is the same idea that quantum science has. When you dig down, you get to molecules and you get to nuclei, and you get sort of, eventually we get to the Higgs boson particle, and we're going ever deeper and looking for more and more tiny things. And quantum science says that eventually when you get to the most tiny thing that makes up our universe, that can't be broken and split apart, you'll have what's called a, well, I was going to say quant actually, but I think that that's not the right word for them. Anyway, that'll come back into a moment. Come back in a moment. Yeah, so the number we're talking about is something ridiculous, like 10 to the power of minus 35 or something like that. Gets you down to the smallest particle of our entire universe. Dr. Pang has the same idea, and he says it's Hunyuan Qi, this indivisible energy, the smallest building block of our entire universe. So oddly enough, we discover that our universe is pixelated, like a computer screen or like a TV screen, that it sort of flashes in and out of existence trillions and trillions and trillions of times per second. But of course, we don't see that. We can't see it. It's too fast. The universe is flashing too fast for us. We have this extraordinary idea that the universe is coming into being and going out of being every single trillion millisecond. But obviously we wouldn't know that because we're just sort of lumbering brutes. I always like the idea that a snail has a refresh rate of something like, I can't remember what it is it 3 minutes, something like that? So you can stand in front of a snail and do a handstand, little dance, and jump up and down, for a minute or two, and then step out of its field of vision, and it might not ever know that you've been there because it only sort of, refreshes its screen rate, if you like, every sort of 2 or 3 minutes. But of course, we, can watch movies that flash at 25 frames a second, and we think it looks like reality, and so 25 refreshes in a second is enough to fool us into believing that reality is solid and real. And then if you talk about on a quantum scale, trillion, zillion, billion, millions of times, we wouldn't have a hope of knowing that the universe flashes. So we have our Dr. Pang theory of the smallest universe, universal thing. And the entire universe is populated with these little pieces of qi, and that they just flow around and fill our entire universe and all the other universes, perhaps, depending on your theory. But, perhaps there's multiverses filled with this Hunyuan Qi. So what makes that Hunyuan Qi do something? And that would be our intention, our consciousness. And so essentially he says that if you bring your mind to bear on undifferentiated qi, you can start to create things. And then 7 billion of us all starting to create things makes our world. And it all seems very solid. But as we know, if you look at the table in front of me, you start to put a microscope on that and you find atoms inside that, and you find molecules, and you find, the whole sort of just as soon as you look inside, you find that nothing is real. You find everything is kind of like just vibrating. And so that's the beautiful thing about our universe. It appears very solid, but it isn't. And so it's the beautiful thing about our friends' gallbladder stones. They appear very solid, but they aren't. And so if you use your intention to focus on a problem, you can make it change. And also, it's the other way around. You know, if we focus on wanting something, we can make it happen. So it's not quite as easy as our American guru style, thought leaders would suggest. Every day you look in the mirror and say, I want £1 million, and within 10 days it'll turn up in your bank account. Not quite as easy as that, unfortunately. However, over a lifetime of stressing about how competent we are, how lovable we are, how whatever, we can generate patterns in our body that'll eventually end up being unhealthy illnesses, as it were. And so now we have to take our intention and change those things. And Dr. Pang's tool, La Chi, says that we can do that. So La Chi is a very simple exercise. We're just going to sit today. We're just going to listen to Dr. Pang chanting Kai for open and He for close. Well, every time we do lift you up and put you down exercise, we push and we pull, we're doing exactly the same thing, opening and closing out into the universe. So same story with this very simple exercise. You're just going to open and let all of the problems dissolve. And when you close your hands slightly closer together, then all of the body healing takes place. I'll explain this a little bit more in a moment. Let's just stop this part of the exercise. Let's just gather some chi and bring ourselves back into balance. So it's just about really, really finding your center, really bringing yourself deep inside. Let's just do some simple forward and back bends, just to release and relax the body. Gathering, lifting up, stretching up into the blue sky. And then we're just going to gently drift the arms over, roll slowly into the upper back, middle back and lower back, and just have the body relax down. Doesn't matter where you get to, just let the body relax and hang. Just make a gentle extension towards your toes and release. In line with the roots of your toes. Release. In line with your insteps. Release. And then back towards your heels, a nice deep bend. Relax, release, let the body hang. Lift the tailbone up behind. Push the tailbone towards the front of the body. Start to roll the spine up. Take up the head, the arms, the ears. Stretch up into the blue sky. Drift the knees and the hips forward as you gently lean back. Up. And gently back. Up. And gently back. Up. And gently back. Great. Stretch hands into the blue sky. Drift the hands down the side, leaning ever so slightly backwards. Down, gently leaning back. Change sides. And down the other side. Good. Stretch hands up into the blue sky. Tipping over head, arms and ears. Just keep the knees nice and soft and gently roll the way down. Sink and relax. Let the body soften and hang. Extend gently towards the toes. Release. In line with the roots of the toes.
release. Look back towards the insteps and release. Back towards the heels. Okay, let the body hang and relax. Tailbone lifts up behind. Tailbone pushes to the front. Spine rolls up. Arms and ears roll up. Stretch up into the blue sky. Knees and hips drift forward as you lean back. Up and gently back. Up and back. Up and gently back. Hands up into the blue sky. Start on the left, gently drifting down on the left-hand side. Let the right-hand side of the body open. Down on the right. Opening the left. Down on the left. And down on the right. Good. Stretch up into the blue sky. And let's go through again. Forward bends, drifting over. Just keep the legs straight. Try and keep your knees locked back a little bit. Let the body hang and relax. Let the hamstrings just gently stretch now, keeping the knees locked back. Extend softly down towards the toes. And release in line with the roots of the toes. Release. Back towards the insteps. Release. Back towards the heels. Relax and release. Let the body gently hang. Lift the tailbone up behind. Push the tailbone toward the front of the body. Roll the spine up. Take up the head, the arms, the ears, and stretch slowly up. Up into the blue sky and stretch. Knees and hips drift forward as you lean back. Up and gently back. Up and back. Up and back. Hands up in the blue sky. Left hand drifts down. Right side of the body gently open. Right hand down. Left hand side of the body open. Down on the left. And down on the right. Stretch up into the blue sky. Let's just run through one more time, keeping the legs straight as you can. Stretching up and then tipping over just the top of the neck. And the arms are parallel to the floor. Then we can start to bend the upper back, middle back, and the lower back, and then let the whole body relax down. Okay, so the body hangs and relaxes here. Back and the neck soft and relaxed. Good. So extend softly towards your toes and release in line with the roots of your toes. And release. Heading back toward the insteps. And release. Working back toward the heels. Body hangs and relaxes. Tailbone lifts behind, tailbone pushes to the front, spine rolls up, head, arms, and ears roll up. Stretch up into the blue sky. Knees and hips drift forwards as you lean back. Up and gently back. Up and gently back. Up and gently back. Up. Okay. So let the left hand curl down, right side of the body open. Right hand curls down, left side of the body open. Down on the left. And down on the right. Okay. Stretch hands up into the blue sky. Just release the hands gently down the sides. And let's gather chi. Pull the chi down through the body. Draw the chi down deep inside. Gathering. And pouring. Just continue. Gathering. And pouring. Draw the chi deep inside. Next time you gather, let's just bring the hands onto the belly. So lift chi up. Gently pour chi down. Aiming for the very core of you. Holding the chi deep inside. The whole body relaxed, the mind expand out. Okay, so I'm just going to ask you to find a comfortable sitting posture. Let's just organize ourselves gently. If it's going to be cold for you, put on something to keep your body warm. You can sit in whatever fashion you like. I noticed that when I was in Xi'an, that lots of the old folk used to just sit there and nod off for a little while and then wake up and start again. It was very beautiful. Try to stay awake if you can. I'm just going to see if my speaker's going to work or not. Okay. So I have the audio with Dr. Pang on it. Okay. Let's just see if this will obligingly play for us. Okay, great. Okay, so just take a comfortable seated posture. So what you're going to hear is Dr. Pang just starting off the meditation just by saying take a comfortable seated posture, back straight and so forth. And then he's just going to go into saying Kai and her. And so traditionally what happens is that we have our feet flat on the floor, back straight, and then try and tuck the chin gently backwards. And then holding a ball of chi, he says 6 to 10 centimeters. So it's from very small to just, it's about sort of, yes, we're talking about a melon to the size of a football and back. And it's a very tiny movement. In fact, it doesn't have to be any movement at all. And you also don't have to have your hands holding a ball. You could have your hands on your tummy, just on your knees. And you can just imagine this opening in your whole body and then chi drawing back inside. But using the hands is quite effective. And it doesn't really matter if it's a tiny little movement or if it's a bigger movement. It doesn't matter whether it stops and restarts. So just whatever works for you. So we'll just work through Kai, that's open. And so what does this open mean? It means
from the very core of you, the patterns inside you that make up you, the stories you tell yourself, the things you say to yourself, the stories that are echoed from your mother and father, from your grandparents, telling you that you're not good enough, that you'll never make it. Whatever those patterns are, this is where we go and we try to just let them dissolve when we open our hands up. So it might equally be a particular illness. It might be a tumor inside. It might be a sore joint. It might be a spinal um, the disc in between a spinal column, spinal in your spinal column that's, they say, has collapsed. You might just want to let something dissolve in your body. And so it might be something physical, or it might be an idea that you wish to get rid of. I always do this. I always think this. I always say this to myself, or this problem I have in my knee. But the thing about La Chi is that if you repeatedly say the same thing to yourself again and again and again, you're reinforcing the problem. So if you were to say, the split meniscus in my knee, I want to heal it. The split meniscus in my knee, I want to heal it. You're actually just repeating the problem again and again and again. So don't repeat the problem. What we're doing is thinking about what we want to fix. And then we're thinking that all the problems dissolve and bring back perfect healing for my knee. Let all the problems in my knee dissolve, bring back perfect healing. And then after that, you don't even have to say knee, it's only once or twice you think about where the problem is, just to focus your mind into that area. And then we just move on to doing La Chi. Open and dissolve, close. And as we close, we imagine all of the resources of the universe flooding back into our body to heal us. Okay, so I think that we'll just begin our La Chi session, and we'll finish a normal sort of time, and I'll just bring us to a close when I feel it's ready. Okay, so let the body relax. As we sit here, we can just feel this gentle connection from our feet deep into the earth. Just allow the body to relax. Chi flowing from the earth up the legs into the body. We have a nice straight spine. We lift back way up a little bit and we draw the chin in. Heavenly Chi pours down from above. So we feel this connectivity from the earth below flowing Chi up into our bodies, from the heavens above pouring Chi down into our bodies. But also we can allow our bodies to softly and gently dissolve into the Chi field. So this left brain idea that we're just separate from everything else, let go of that. Feel into your skin, your clothing. Where does the skin begin? And the air around you finish? Where your skin meets clothing, where is that barrier? Can you be exceptionally precise about it? Not really. If you think about it, your skin is extraordinarily porous. We breathe through our skin, every breath. Little pores in our skin open and close. So even the barrier between ourselves and the outside world is not quite what it seems. So we just allow ourselves to feel into that idea of where our body is. And then just allow that to soften even further. Just gently feel the chi field around you. Expanding from the chi field around us into the room that we're working in. Going beyond that to the nature around us. Whether you be in a little village or a town or a city or just out in the countryside, there's always nature. Just allow yourself to gently expand. We could feel somewhere plants, trees, little animals. The earth below us, supplying amazing chi up into the body. The heavens above us, chi pouring down. Us gently relaxed into nature chi. Let's go a step beyond that and think about blue sky. If you think about the image of blue sky, a blue sky day, think of the vastness of the blue sky. Allow yourself to dissolve into blue sky. We can be very technical about it and think of, well, the earth below us. But if you continue through the earth to the other side, you find blue sky on the other side. Blue sky everywhere. So just allow the boundaries of your body to gently relax and the idea of blue sky to permeate through. Not as solid as we feel we are. Just letting our whole body gently merge with the chi field around. Allowing the gatekeeper of our lives, the left side of our brain, just to gently quieten. No longer on alert. Just allow that to be for the next little while. So it's this left logical side of the brain that creates the problems for us. All the overthinking, all the patterns it holds on to, all the old stories it tells us. When we sit quietly, we just allow that side of our brain to settle and relax. We just allow it to go off duty so that we can be in our bodies and heal. This is the idea of meditation. It's softly bypassing the stories, the patterns. And so now what is it that you wish to change in your body today? What aspect, be it physical or emotional, mental? Just put your mind there for a few moments. Just thinking to yourself, when I first start working, I'm going to gently dissolve all the problems around my, and then you fill in the blanks. I'm going to let everything go. You can be very precise if you wish. You can be very scientific, very accurate. You can create a perfect picture of the problem in your head, just for a moment or so. And then you can imagine everything in perfect working order. As if you could just take a magic wand, dissolve everything. Immediately it's gone. As if you could wipe a board rubber across the board and all of the information there just disappears. One stroke, everything is gone. and you are healed. So we're just going to do La Chi with Dr. Pang now. Just relax for a moment. You'll hear his voice and then the chant afterwards. And I'll see if I can get the volume right to make this work. Suspend halfway. The whole body centered and upright. Close the eyes slightly. Draw the vision and mind back. Relax the head. Relax the chest and back. Relax the waist and hips. Relax the legs. Relax the whole body. Arms in front of the chest, arms face each other. Practice open and close. Slowly. 6 to 10 centimeters. Close. Close. Kai is open the hands. Her is draw chi inside. Kai, open and dissolve. Her is draw chi back into the body. Dissolving the problem. Bringing chi back inside. Let go and dissolve. Draw healing chi into your body. Hands gently open. Hands gently close. Body dissolves. Chi flows in to heal. dissolve into chi. Draw healing chi inside. Let go, let go, let go. Let go, let go, let go. Dissolve from the depths of you. Open, open, open. Relax and open. Draw healing chi deep inside. attract healing chi deep inside your body. Bring the healing resources deep inside. Heal your body with Hunyuan Qi. Healing Qi penetrates every cell. Problems dissolve at the deepest level. problems dissolve at the deepest level. All problems dissolve at the deepest level. Only chi. Draw the healing chi into your body. Whole body and life, only chi. Draw the healing chi into your body. Totally open. Bring fresh healing chi inside. Whole body dissolves. Rebuild with fresh chi. All problems gone. Body filled with fresh chi. Body relaxed. New body rebuilding. Just a few more like this. Just go a little bit quieter. Do the last two in silence, just movement. Just hold a little ball of chi in front of you. In between your hands, the power of the universe. In the power of your mind, the ability to heal your body completely. Just feel the truth of this idea. We are all God. God is inside all of us. We just need to find our true divinity. can bring about total healing inside our bodies, total healing inside our minds, total healing for all the old patterns that used to control our habits, total healing for any illness of the mind or the body. Just feel your ability to bring this about. Just know that you are the power of the universe distilled into this extraordinary life. Now we can gently draw our hands back towards our bellies. We can let the hands settle onto do chi, the belly button, for a few moments. Just hold the hands there and feel the energy penetrating deep inside lower dantian. An abundance of energy deep inside lower dantian. Body filled with chi. Blood and chi flow well in every aspect of the body. Complete healing for the body. All functions of the body returning to perfect working order. All functions of the body, perfect working order. All functions of the body, normal. Not the old normal. Normal function. Exactly as the body would be expected to function. So we're going to close down now. But if you'd prefer just to stay sitting for a while longer and sit with this healing, then do so. You don't have to worry about saying howler. You don't have to worry about rubbing circles around the tummy until you've finished. So just gently rub circles round if you're ready, gathering all the chi inside, holding all this chi deep in the belly. We can go 3 circles round in the opposite direction, closing down, holding chi, gathering deep inside. Just hold the hands on the belly. As you sit here, you can feel your body complete, healed. You can feel the vast chi reservoirs inside. Every cell is a chi reservoir. Every channel that runs through your body is a reservoir. Every organ in your body, a reservoir. Allow the chi from your lower dantian to flow up your spine to your brain. Fill your neck, your shoulders, your arms, to your fingers. Spill this chi down your spine, filling your ribs. Illuminate your chest, midriff, lower torso, filled with chi. Into your hips, to the sitting bones, into your thighs, down into your knees, down into your calves, into your ankles and Achilles, into your feet. It's astonishing chi. Supports the whole body of function. Everything in your body working well. All functions of your body return to normal. All functions normal. All functions of your body normal. Blood and chi flowing well. An abundance of energy deep inside. You. Put a big smile on your face. Slowly open your eyes. We can move our hands a little bit. Move the feet a little bit. You don't have to stand up. No need to unmute if you don't want to. We can just say haola gently together. So just raise the hands up in the air. 1, 2. Haola. 1, 2. Haola. 1, 2. Haola. Lovely. Thank you very much, everyone. So just allow this healing to percolate through today. Just allow it to be in your body at all times, wherever you're going, whatever you're doing. Just allow the feeling that this healing is continuing to work through you, and that it will be with you all day. Well, it's going to continue with you. Everything sorted, everything well. Lovely to see you all. And this healing is going to go up online, so you can do it again if you wish at any stage. Bye.
Okay, bye. Thank you, Jeremy. Thank you.
Bye.
Great.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye. Bye.